Hello all you fine beautiful people, I'm back here once again with another video, and today I'm going to be reacting to Time by Roger Waters. I have to say, ever since he announced his whole reimagining of Dark Side of the Moon, I've kind of gone back and forth whether or not I actually wanted to listen to him at all, and I haven't listened to Money yet, so I did put a post out on YouTube saying, was there any interest in this? And some people responded saying, yeah, like, they've heard it, they want to hear my opinions on it. So I'm like, okay, this is something interesting. So right off the bat, I know this isn't going to be anything close to the original. So I kind of thought to myself, you know what, I'm just going to completely take that song out of my brain and just look at this very open-minded, very like almost as if it's a brand new song. So without further ado, here it is. Time by Roger Waters.
The voice had been there all along, hidden in the stones in the rivers, hidden in all the books, hidden in plain sight. It was the voice of reason.
So that was Time by Roger Waters. I have to say, after listening to this, I don't think it's the worst thing in the world. Like, I think the first thing that comes to mind is if it was like MTV Unplugged or something. This kind of feels like the version that would probably be sung. It's really interesting. The little poetry it sounds like at the beginning is really interesting. At least for me, I'm like, okay. And then it sets up this very dark, kind of foreboding, spoken word way of doing this. And it's interesting. I do like the musicianship on it. I do think it creates a very big atmosphere around, almost if you're like in this cloud. I think one thing I notice about this, and I don't know if it's intentional, like some of the way Roger sings some of this, I don't know if the word to say that it just feels at times very jagged, kind of, I don't know how to put that. It just feels very kind of like you're used to it being sung a certain way, and then all of a sudden, like, it just feels like there's these little stops. Kind of feels like hiccups in it, and it's really weird. I have to say, though, the lyrics to Time are amazing. Probably some of my favorite lyrics from a Pink Floyd song. Like, I believe this is actually the last song, going back to Dark Side of the Moon, that all four of them have writing credits on, which is amazing. Some absolutely great. Tired of lying in the sunshine, staying home to watch the rain. You are young and life is long. Is there is time to kill today? And then one day you find 10 years have got behind you. No one told you when to run. You missed the starting gun. The older I get in life, and I remember it hitting me even as a kid, listening to this song, but I feel the older and older and older I get, the more I think people relate to this song, especially the 10 years. Because I've been at my job for quite a while, I think about 16 years now, and it feels, bam, like yesterday, and I'm like, where the hell did the last decade go? They mentioned 2010, and you're like, oh, that wasn't that long ago, and then you start thinking about it, it's like, that was 13 years ago. Wow. And as a kid, you're like, and they keep telling and feeling like time's just like this massive bore, like you can't wait. It feels like it goes on forever, like all the years are just going on forever. And then you get out in the real world and it speeds up. And my dad said one thing to me, he's like, you want to know one thing? Have kids and then watch how quickly time feels like it's just running by, which I think is a pretty good way to look at it. You run and you run to catch up with the sun, but it's sinking and racing around to come up behind you again. The sun is the same in a relative way, but you're older, shorter of breath, and one day closer to death. Fantastic lyrics there. Especially about the sun's always been the same, but it's always your perception, your time in life, and the older you get, the more it feels like time is just ticking away, ticking away, ticking away. It's amazing. And the ending, the home again. I like to be here when I can. When I come home cold and tired, it's good to warm my bones beside the fire. Far away across the field, the tolling of the iron bell calls the faithful to their knees to hear the softly spoken magic spell. Wow. I always love this part at the end, that kind of breathe in the air reprisal with this throughout. And this has always been, from Dark Side of the Moon, one of my favorite songs. I think as a standalone track, I don't think it's bad. I really don't. I think it's decent. Like, it's very competently done. I'll never say Roger Waters is a complete like he doesn't know what he's doing. I think there's this perception, or people like are very angry at Roger Waters for doing this, and I can see why they're angry, because Dark Side of the Moon is such an iconic album. And listening to this, I am curious to hear what comes next. I'll probably react to Money here right after doing this and see how that one sounds, and that might tell whether or not I want to hear more from this album. But when it comes out, or if I'll even buy it or want to actually have it. But I think some of the blowback he's getting is because it is iconic. And it made me actually step back and think for a bit. And I thought about this a lot. And I know this came from the Lockdown Sessions, and I looked at a few of the songs on the Lockdown Sessions. I'm like, if Roger Waters would have actually probably done this to an album that's celebrating its 40th anniversary, The Final Cut, would there be as much blowback from fans on that album getting kind of this reimagining, unlike Dark Side of the Moon, which I get why he did it. You make more money by reimagining Dark Side than you do The Final Cut, but I heard a few of his Lockdown Session songs, and I thought they were actually really good for that album, because that album lends itself, I think, a lot more to this idea. Because I don't hate the idea. I actually really enjoy the idea of kind of bands looking back at some of their albums and tweaking them a little bit, or making a completely different album. But I would say, like, I think the idea is a good idea. I just think that with Pink Floyd, and especially how iconic some of those songs are, like Time, Money, I find it actually very, very interesting that the first two singles released are the two songs that feature David Gilmour guitar solos in them. I don't think... Because, yeah, maybe... Is Any Color You Like have a guitar solo? I'm trying to remember that one. Because I know it's very guitar heavy. It's like very delayed, echoed guitars and stuff in there, mixed with Rich Wright's piano playing. But it's like the two big songs off the album had guitar solos in them, and as soon as these singles are released, there's no guitar solos. So I find it actually very interesting. But anyway, that's my thoughts and opinions. I'd love to know what you guys think about this. Please let me know down below in the comments section. Also, I want to say thank you guys so much. I'm trying to get back into doing these videos again. I know I took quite a long break in between. Like, I've just been trying to get back into the groove of doing these, and it always seems like life, something always seems to come up. Once again, very much thank you guys so much for watching. This is Amir signing out. Peace.